Topping today's news, the opposition expressing concerns over the rising fiscal deficit. The coroner's office investigating a police-involved shooting on Thursday. Telephone giant BTC blames the electricity provider for much of its challenges this year, and Prodigal Sons Junkanoo Group will have to give the government answers after missing the Boxing Day parade. Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Jarino Saunders. This is your JCN Evening News, and it is a pleasure to have you join us. Member of Parliament for East Grand Bahama and the opposition's Shadow Minister for Finance, Kwesi Thompson, called the government's recently released monthly fiscal summary report for September alarming, contending that the country's first quarter budget deficit of $58 million for this fiscal year is not in line with the government's deficit targets and is higher than the same quarter last year. In a written statement on Wednesday, Mr. Thompson said, given the information in the report, there is no doubt why international credit rating agencies like Standard & Poor's and the International Monetary Fund are projecting the Davis administration will surpass its budget deficit targets by a huge margin. Mr. Thompson blames the reported quarterly deficit on reckless spending by the government. He also said what is particularly troubling is that the report shows that the government spending has increased while revenue has decreased or remained flat, including value-added tax. Meanwhile, according to the Minister of Economic Affairs, Michael Halkitis, the government is confident it will meet its projected targets. Taking time to respond to the December 21st consultation document released by the Utilities Regulations and Competition Authority, ERCA, telephone giant BTC is blaming a vast majority of its unplanned outages on power failures by the electricity service providers, including Bahamas Power and Light. BTC said investigations into its recent network outages show that 5 out of 8 instances were results of electricity service provider outages. Additionally, BTC says the ongoing power quality and reliability issues creates significant challenges for BTC to deliver high quality and reliable services to its customers. Additionally, he said, or the statement said, they have to bear the burden of installing and maintaining backup electricity supplies for all of its network sites and facilities. Meanwhile, ERCA is seeking to reestablish and expand upon electricity supply standards and is revising its competition guidelines to include the electricity sector as well. His Majesty's coroner is leading investigations into a police-involved shooting that resulted in the death of a 27-year-old male resident of Dean Street. Preliminary reports indicate that around 2:30 p.m. on Thursday, December 28th, officers from Saturation Patrols were conducting an operation on Dean Street in Bainstown, just off Nassau Street, when the incident occurred at the rear of a property. This police shooting is under investigation. While on the scene, reporters were able to speak briefly with a woman who claims to be the victim's mother. She expressed grief, anger, and frustration with the shooting.
Oh, I was inside, but you can probably come back tomorrow. Yeah, man, as serious I can.
You want answers?
Yeah, that's all I want is answers.
They shoot the son that they did. You say police do it?
Yes.
Yeah, in the head. Wow, shot him in the head for no reason?
With no gun, he had no gun or nothing.
Meanwhile, Police Press Liaison Officer Chief Superintendent Chrislyn Skippings had the following comments about the ongoing investigation into that shooting.
I can say thus far, His Majesty Coroner is leading the investigations into a police-involved shooting. The incident reportedly occurred around 2:30 p.m. at the rear of a property on Danes Lane. At this time, I won't get into the specifics of it, no more than I consider they were conducting an operation when the incident occurred. And my comments are limited because His Majesty's Coroner was on scene and she has taken charge of the investigation.
Chief Superintendent Skippings gave this warning for you to think twice before engaging the police.
If you find yourself in a position where you want to confront a police officer with a weapon, police officers do not practice. Police officers are trained, specialized individuals who, when they draw their weapons, their intent is to kill.
That was Police Press Liaison Officer Chief Superintendent Chrislyn Skippings. And finally, in this segment, in other crime news, a 36-year-old male was taken into police custody on Thursday following a fatal stabbing incident on Finlayson Street in the Bainstown area. That's just off Ponciana Avenue. Police say around 9:30 p.m., the 36-year-old suspect was involved in a dispute with a 50-year-old male victim. The dispute escalated, resulting in the suspect producing a knife and stabbing the victim in the head before fleeing the scene. Moments later, the suspect turned himself into police and was subsequently arrested in the area of Meadow and Nassau Streets. The victim was transported to the hospital by a private vehicle, but later succumbed to his injuries. We'll take a break here. We'll be right back after these commercials.